It's a pleasant day for football temperature-wise. It is a packed house, but it is raining, has rained most of the night and into today. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon. We'll check with Steve Tasker on the sideline in just a moment. Ravens won the toss. They've chosen to take the second half kickoff. The Titans will receive with a look at 11-year head coach John Harbaugh. His team has been out of the playoffs the last 3 years. On the Tennessee Titans side, first-year head coach Mike Vrabel. And if anyone knows something about this Baltimore team, it's Vrabel from his days with the New England Patriots.
He's done a terrific job. Just his first year as a head coach. I think he's put together a really good staff, but they've got to find a way to get this offense going. They've struggled through the first 5 weeks of the season.
There's a look at one of the great kickers in the game right now, Justin Tucker. And deep back is Darius Jennings, who grew up in Baltimore. He's a Baltimore High School Player of the Year, went to the Gilman School. It's the Ravens and the Titans, and away we go from Tennessee. He's going to let it go in and out of the end zone for a touchback to the 25, and we go to Steve Tasker and say good afternoon.
Hi, Kevin, and one of the things that's ongoing for the Tennessee Titans is the throwing hand of Marcus Mariota. He wears a specially altered glove to cover his pinky and ring finger of his throwing hand. Now, one of the problems is it's not only that those two fingers are numb, which they are, but they also lack strength. And on a day when it's been raining off and on throughout the day, that could be considered a problem for a guy who's going to have his hands on the football every play.
Good stuff, Steve. Thank you very much. With a couple tight ends, it's the first play of the game from the pistol for Marcus Mariota. Derrick Henry on 1st and 10. Into a thicket up to about the 28-yard line. A handful right there, including Owasso on a gain of 3. Tell me about Marcus Mariota, Rich.
Well, then they've got to run the ball better around him, but in terms of what he has to do better, Kevin, he's got to play and function better from the pocket. I think he's able to make big plays and throws off the scramble, but I think this Ravens defense are going to do everything they can to keep him and force him to function and throw from the well.
4 in the secondary, 2nd down and 7. Block from Spain, the pass by Mariota. He's got him at the 45, 17-yard pickup, picked up by Tajae Sharpe. That's a first down to the 45-yard line. The offense right there. Luan was banged up last week. MRI negative, starts today. And you see some of the skill players at the disposal of 4th-year quarterback Mariota. Here's Derrick Henry. Suggs will wrap him up as he gets to the 49 on a gain of about 4. Now the defense for Baltimore this afternoon. They've got Michael Pierce, who is back in there on that line, battling a foot injury. He's missed 2 of the last 3. Kenny Young's been playing well. Owasso starts those. 2nd down and 6, Mariota. To his running back, Henry, former Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama, picks up 5. He's to the 46. Owasso is there among a couple for the Ravens.
And sometimes when you're struggling to find your way offensively, jumping the ball, going up tempo can really help the quarterback develop some timing and rhythm with this passing game.
It's a 3rd and 1 with the flag, as you see, thrown, and coming through Jefferson. Tony Jefferson from the Baltimore secondary. Led him in tackles last week at Cleveland. Our referee, Carl Cheffers, here in Nashville this afternoon.
Offside defense, 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
Yeah, I think it's Wormley. You see Wormley, he just jumps into the neutral zone. And that's the thing. Mariota's going to have to change up this cadence to slow down this pass rush. That's going to be really important. We talked to Eric Weddle last night, the Pro Bowl safety of the Ravens, and he said, look, I try and get down around the line of scrimmage. I want to get a feel for the cadence and the rhythm of Marcus Mariota so we can time up the blitzes, so we can communicate and make all our calls defensively.
Weddle with a 4 in the secondary. Gain of 3. Henry hit on the play by Kenny Young.
I really think that the key to this offense, Kevin, it's got to be running the football with Derrick Henry. I mean, I think part of the problem is how they utilize their backs. You look at Dion Lewis, he comes in the game. He's probably got almost as many carries and touches as Derrick Henry, but look, Derrick Henry is a throwback type of back. He needs a lot of carries to get going.
Lewis is in, 2nd down 7. Oh, look out for Suggs. Look out for Wormley, and down he goes. Sacked back at the 43. They came very fast and very quick. They got Baker Mayfield 5 times last week.
Well, there he is right there. I mean, you got to be able to anticipate that when you don't block their best pass rusher, something bad is usually going to happen. You're just asking too much from Mariota. He's a great athlete, but you're not going to avoid Suggs when he's not blocked.
Third down 12. Mariota. Down he goes again. This time it is a Darius Smith. 3rd sack of the season. That's that terrific defense. Top 5 in the NFL. 2nd sack, loss of 7. Here comes the punting unit for Tennessee.
And these are the situations that you need to stay out of against this Ravens defense. They're number 1 in 3rd down efficiency. And they do a great job with their rush, a coordinated rush, and they're terrific on the back end. But you get in 3rd and 8+ situations against the Ravens, you're just asking for trouble.
There's Cyrus Jones, signed for a 2nd time in about the last month. Brett Kern will punt. 3rd different return guy for Baltimore. Oh, it's going to be placed well at the 6, maybe the 7. Kern does the job. 44-yard punt. But riding high right now, the Raven D making a statement early in Nashville. What kind of season is Joe Flacco having so far, Rich?
Well, Kevin, he's healthy. You go back and look at 2017, he missed all of training camp with that back injury, and certainly they struggled out the gate. But you look at him this year, he's been playing really well. And I think part of it is he's got 3 new weapons at the wide receiver position. You look at with Crabtree, Mint Brown, and Snead. More targets, more production for Flacco in 2018.
Offense, though, has been struggling just a bit, as we talked about. They haven't scored a touchdown since the first quarter of the Pittsburgh Steelers game.
They need to be able to finish down in the red zone. They were the best red zone team in football the first 3 weeks, and the last 2 weeks 0 for 7 in that part of the field with a couple turnovers.
On the 6. 7 plays, punt by Tennessee. Play action, yonder the block. Crabtree. He struggled last week. Adoree Jackson is there, and the gain is a good one with 21 yards on that pickup. Put him to the 27.
This is a really nice route by Crabtree. He's going to start to the post, and he works back to the boundary. This is a 2-man route. This is a maximum protection. They're going to keep 8 in. Flacco loves the play action shots on 1st and 10. You see that rain come down.
Collins in the backfield, 1st down and 10. Alex Collins. Oh, they got a beat on him. The rookie out of Alabama, Rashaan Evans, the number 1 pick from the Crimson Tide in Arakpo. We're all there, losing a yard on that run. Back to the 26.
We've got to find a way to get this running game cranked up. Collins has been banged up a little bit this year, but you know, they can't run the ball and play action off of that, then they usually struggle offensively.
3.4 yards per carry. Number 30, a concern for John Harbaugh. 2nd down 11. In Jackson. Collins. Skura trying to give him a block. There just isn't anything there except a meager yard. Near the 27-yard line as Lamar Jackson took it at the quarterback position. There he is, the Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 pick out of Louisville.
Well, you look at this, 36 snaps this season. Here's the breakdown of what he does. He's in the shotgun most of the time, and most of it's run. Either him keeping it or handing off. He's thrown it just a few times. A lot of that those 12 snaps were against the Bills in a blowout week 1.
Buck Allen in, 3rd and 10 to go to Allen. They need the 37. He's got the 1st down. Met by a couple on that one, including Darren Bates on 3rd and 11. Little floater out there to Allen, picks up 11 yards and a 1st down.
Well, Buck Allen does a lot of good things, and he can run it, and he's very good in the passing game. But look at the space. I mean, look at this. This is 3rd and long. I mean, somebody blows a coverage. Somebody's responsible. be a flat defender out there responsible for the back.
Collins in 1st and 10. Williams, that extra tight end, offering a block, and they get away and around the corner and chased out of bounds by Jackson. That's Collins, 3 years out of Arkansas, and he'll pick up a couple on the play. Give him 4 as we take a look at the offensive lineup. And Rich, they've started every game so far this season together.
And I think that was an issue last year, the fact that they've got some continuity, which I think has really helped keep Flacco healthy and upright.
We saw Hurst as one of the tight ends. He's out there with that receiving group. 2nd down and 7. Gus Edwards was the running back. They go quickly to Chris Moore, who is wrapped up by Malcolm Butler and brought down on the play. Evans was there. It's a gain of 6 and very close to a 1st down.
You see the blocking up front. Willie Snead, tough. He gets the kick-out block on Malcolm Butler. Keep an eye on the Ravens, their tight end usage. You know, you watch the tape. They've got 4 tight ends. They're all active today. Hurst was their 1st-round pick. Andrews, another rookie. But Max Williams and Nick Boyle. You'll see 2 and 3 tight ends. At times, you'll even see 4 tight ends on the field.
3rd and 1. Tight end Williams in motion. Allen in the backfield. Flacco. And he pushes the pile for 2 to midfield for the 1st.
Flacco may be one of the best quarterback sneak quarterbacks in the game. You know, I think it helps that he's 6'6", but he does a pretty nice job of getting himself skinny in the hole. And he finds it. See his face get knocked backwards. But he does a good job getting between the center and the right guard yonder there, and you see the push.
Well, he's certainly big enough, isn't he? Huh? Allen is in, Collins in. 8th play of this 1st drive for Baltimore. Flacco on 1st and 10. Collins looking for a Williams block, getting a Moore block, and then forced out of bounds. Lewis ushered him across the way, down to the 46 with a gain of 4. It's our first trip to New York. Let's go to James Brown in our CBS studios.
A gutsy comeback by Miami.
Yeah, Jason Sanders nails this walk-off overtime field goal from 47 yards as the Miami Dolphins, with Brock Osweiler as quarterback, win over Chicago.
Sanders' first ever game-winning field goal, back to Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, and Steve Tasker.
Thank you, guys. 2nd down and 6. We saw Miami lose last week in Cincinnati. Buck Allen. There's a block in there by Nick Boyle, but it didn't produce a whole lot. Jayon Brown makes the stop. It is a gain of 2. He's just inside the 45. Look at the defense now for the Tennessee Titans. Casey is having an all-pro season, as good as there is at that tackle position in pro football. Couple changes at linebacker. Woodyard and Compton out. Brown and Evans are in. Both have been effective so far. Butler is at one corner. Logan Ryan at the other. 3rd down and 4. Flacco underneath. Buck Allen needs the 40. Has the 1st. Bumped out of bounds that time by Darren Bates, the former Raider. It is a gain of 8 on the play and a 1st down to the 38-yard line.
You know, I think where the Titans are vulnerable is in with their linebackers in coverage. I think it's a bit of a liability. They've not done a good job with Buck Allen on 2 consecutive 3rd down attempts. Buck Allen's just snuck right out, went up through the A-gap there, and they just lost him in coverage.
Flacco so far has started 3 of 3. 3 passes, 6 running plays. 1st and 10. Hayden Hurst. Williams a block, and they read it well. Hit initially on the play by Brown. Finished off on the play by Darius Kilgo. There is no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down for Baltimore.
Well, I've been impressed with this Tennessee defense. They run to the football. They take good pursuit angles. They tackle well. And they can make it difficult for you early in games. In fact, this defense has allowed just 7 first quarter points in the first 5 games.
But that defense has been ranked number 26 in the NFL. Number 4 last year. Number 26 this season. 2nd down and 10. Collins tried to go in there. Rakpo finished him off, but the initial hit was from Austin Johnson on a gain of 3 to the 37.
Well, Dean Pease has done a nice job with this defense. The former defensive coordinator of the Ravens. He retired January 2nd, and a couple weeks later, Mike Vrabel somehow talked him out of retirement, and he's in his first year here with this Titans defense. Took over for Dick LeBeau, and you can already see his fingerprints all over this defense. They play a lot of press, man-to-man coverage. They get after you, and they are aggressive.
3rd and 7, empty backfield for Flacco. They need the 29, and he's going for Allen, and it's incomplete. He thought and there was a flag thrown on the play with the coverage by linebacker Darren Bates. Flag was thrown at about the 27.
Pass, holding, number 55, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Leading tackler Jayon Brown right there.
I mentioned to you just a moment ago the struggles they have in the passing game. The linebacker position, you just look right in the middle of your screen there. He's covering the rookie Andrews. He's just going to grab him. And I think misdirection hurts him as well.
3 tight ends, Allen in the backfield. Batted down. That may have been Austin Johnson, who got up there and swatched that ball away, a former 2nd-round pick out of Penn State a couple years ago.
You see the push-up inside, the penetration, and if you can't get there as a defensive lineman, the next best thing is to get those big mitts up into the throwing lane of Flacco.
So the 13th play of this drive is coming up. Crabtree has caught one for 21. Buck Allen has caught one for 11. One for 8. 2nd down and 10. Collins was in. Flacco got him. Crabtree want to move. Wheels and deals near the 5. Butler brings him out. And Crabtree, who was the GOAT last week with drops and maybe a possible game-winning catch in the end zone, comes up with a big 27-yard catch there.
Just watch this. He's good. He wants to throw the ball to Snead, and then he's not there, and he works all the way back. Watch Flacco's eyes. He's working to his right. He wants to throw Snead. They double Snead, and he's able to peel off late. Look at Flacco's eyes. He's starting to his right. He wants to throw the angle route to Willie Snead. It's not there. This is a veteran quarterback who's been in the system and knows where the progressions are. Good throw there by Flacco.
First time in the red zone in 23 drives for this offense. They pull for Collins. He leaps for a yard. That's about it. You saw the guys in pursuit. 2nd down and goal.
Well, you look at the red zone struggles. Their first 13 drives, 13 touchdowns. It was the best in all of football. Their last 7 drives, no touchdowns, which is the worst. And again, Kevin, there's been an interception inside the 5. There's been a fumble. There's been some penalties. You talk about the priorities in the red zone. No penalties, no sacks, no turnovers. And they've had all of them the last 2 weeks.
Second down and goal. Allen in the backfield. To the end zone. Flacco. Incomplete. Looking for his tight end, Boyle, who's only caught 10 passes so far, but that tight end position remains very important for this offense.
Flacco loves to throw the football to the tight ends. I think Marty Mornhinweg likes to use the tight ends. They're not in there just to catch passes. They're good on the edge. They're good blockers. They give you a great flexibility in terms of what they're able to do. They can move them into the backfield. They can lead on the ISO.
3rd and goal at the 4. Flacco caught for a touchdown. Crabtree. 4-yard strike and a first quarter touchdown.
This is the best thing that Crabtree does. He's able to use his height, his size, and his ability to adjust to these back shoulder throws. Flacco, the timing there is excellent. They go after the corner, Malcolm Butler, who has really struggled the first 5 weeks of the seasons for the Titans. It's a big addition in free agency, but he has not played well in the secondary for Tennessee.
Haven't scored since first quarter in that Pittsburgh game, but they get a touchdown right there. It's been a long time, 23 drives before getting in the end zone.
Good looking drive, 17 plays, 90 yards.
And 4 of 4, Rich, on 3rd down. You say Crabtree's about as hard as workers you're going to find. He's played in the league a long time, 10 years. He's a two-time 1,000-yard receiver. He had the 3 drops last week, 7 for the season, 13 a couple years ago. But he's worked on it hard, they say. Very diligent in practice this week. And he snares a good one. That puts Baltimore on the board. And Tucker will make it 7-0. Crabtree on that drive was terrific. Caught one for 21, caught one for 27. But the one that matters, the 4-yard lasso pass from Flacco.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by USAA, official NFL salute to service partner. Uber, doors are always opening. And by Verizon, the best unlimited is on Verizon, America's most awarded network.
Beautiful setting for the Titans play here just on the other side of the river in downtown Nashville with a look at Joe Flacco with that touchdown pass of 4 yards to Crabtree. Effectively through the air, 5 of 7 on that drive.
Did a good job with the ball distribution. They just kind of nickeled and dimed their way down the field against a pretty good Tennessee defense.
A kickoff from Tucker. Darius Jennings is back. He'll bring it out from the 1. He played at the University of Virginia, where they had a big win last night over Miami. A flag is down. He's inside the 25, and he returns at 20 yards on the play. On the kick team, Baltimore comes in 3-2. Tennessee 3-2.
Illegal formation, kicking team player number 10. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
That's Chris Moore. Last week we talked about this a little bit earlier, but Baltimore losing in overtime to Cleveland 12-9. And Tennessee last week at Buffalo lost 13-12. You can see this offsides by Chris Moore.
I can't figure it out. I don't know if he's not on the line, not on the 30. That's probably it. You've got to be on that 34-yard line.
He's too far off. He threw it right when he got out of the blocks.
Yeah, so he never moved. He just wasn't lined up on the 34-yard line.
Ravens going through their 3rd consecutive road game.
You wonder, excuse me, Kev, you wonder if he was staggered back a half a yard so he could see the approach. You know what I mean? Because he was quick out of the box. He was probably looking at Justin Tucker. It's one of the problems with this rule change. You can't see the kick of the ball.
Tucker again. And Jennings again. It's time from about the 2. That's a kick return. Well, that was a big hit. How'd you hear that? Jones was there, Board was there, 21-yard return. Saturday, it's the best game from the best conference with number 1 Alabama. Takes on Tennessee and Knoxville. The day kicks off with college football today at 3 Eastern on CBS. Bama took care of Missouri yesterday. Tennessee went on the road to upset number 21 Auburn.
When you look at these numbers right here, this tells a story. You look at him in his Heisman season at Alabama, he averaged 26 carries a game. You look at him in his first 3 seasons, he's averaging less than 10. To me, Kevin, that's a big story. He's not even on the field right now.
Jimmy Smith is on the field, though. So is Chuck Clark defensively for Baltimore.
Jimmy Smith played 36 snaps last week and played well.
Deion Lewis on 1st and 10. Trying to find some room. Hit on the play by Willie Henry, and he picks up about 2, and he's out to the 25.
I just think with a big back like Derrick Henry, Kevin, you know, if you don't get him touches, and he doesn't get him a rhythm, and you know, those are the type of backs that can really pay some huge dividends for you late in games. But for whatever reason, that's not how he's being utilized in this offense right now.
Forward, Lassie!
Going with the nickel on this defensive series. Baltimore with Smith and, like we said, Clark in there. 2nd down and 8. Fake to Lewis. There's a nice block by the tight end Smith, and he's going deep, and he had him. He had Taywan Taylor. Incomplete on the play. Overshot him. 3rd and 8 for the Tennessee Titans.
Man, they come off a play action, and they're just going to run the post route right down the field. And this is one you've got to hit. This is good protection. Look at the bite it gets out of Weddle. He tries to jump the in route, And that's just a throw that Marcus Mariota's got to hit. Taywan Taylor is going to take that one to the house.
Six in the secondary. Levine is in. 3rd and 8.
This is where it gets complicated for the quarterback. You see all those bodies down around the line of scrimmage.
Oh, you're right, Rich. Look what happened. Early timeout.
First charge timeout.
It's hard, isn't it? For a young quarterback, it's very difficult. Timeout, Tennessee. Flacco has thrown a short touchdown pass. Ravens by 7 on CBS. Well, they had 6 out there before, Rich. Now they've taken the timeout. 5 defensive backs out there for Baltimore on this 3rd down.
And the Ravens do a terrific job disguising their intentions pre-snap. They're going to make Mariota work. Most of the reads will be post-snap reads as opposed to pre-snap reads. You see all these bodies up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
You don't know if they bring 4, they're going to bring 5. Some watch, they'll bring a couple and some will drop. Get them with the hard count.
Smith may have jumped on the defensive line for Baltimore.
It was interesting. We talked to the Ravens last night. They said Mariota doesn't use a lot of hard count.
And you quarterbacks practice the hard count, don't you?
They sure do, especially against a defense that's got Terrell Suggs out there.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And Kevin, this is what I was talking about. When you play against this Ravens defense, they give you so many looks that are kind of unorthodox. You got 7 men up the line of scrimmage. Are they bringing a blitz? It looks like it. Now all of a sudden they're just bringing 4. I looked at this play a couple times on film. It looked to me like it was 5. I had to go back and run it from the end zone. And again, from the quarterback's perspective, it really challenges your communication and protection system at the line of scrimmage.
Levine back in. 6 in the secondary. 3rd and 3. Looking for Lewis. He's got the first down. From behind, he was torn down, and that was Zadarius Smith, and that may be a horse collar or a face mask. A gain of 6. Reached the marker, got to the 36. That's the number 1 threat, isn't it, about Mariota? He's just such a great runner, and he runs to run, not runs to buy time.
And they know that. He's running a lot more. I think they've got it's his first year in a new system. He lost his Pro Bowl tight end, Delaney Walker. They're so young and inexperienced at the wide receiver position. He's just, if it's not there, he's going to pull it down.
Number 78, offense. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 78, offense. That penalty's accepted. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
That's on your All-Pro Jake Conklin, who's out of Michigan State, plays at right tackle.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that tackle position. The best pair of young offensive tackles in football. Taylor Lewan's 26. Conklin's 23 years old. Both are already Pro Bowlers and should only get better. But both are going to be tested today for sure.
You're right, though, Rich. You mentioned losing Delaney Walker. That was a huge loss for this Tennessee offense. Pro Bowler, lower leg injury, out for the year. 3rd and 18 now. They need the 33. Suggs is chasing. Mariota throws it away, but I think he hit the chalk before he released, and he's going to be out of bounds.
Well, they've got to set the edge with Marcus Mariota. Keep him in there. Don't give him any creases or seams to run through.
The ruling on the field is a quarterback was out of bounds when he threw the ball. 4th down.
That's a sack, and Suggs will get it. 7-0 Baltimore.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Rain is kind of come and gone here most of the first quarter and certainly in the pregame show. Let's watch if the quarterback Mariota, and Levine is going to get credit for the sack, by the way.
I think the ball's actually out of his hand before that right foot comes down, but irregardless, I mean, they're going to punt the ball anyway. I think it's a difference of a couple yards at the most.
That play is not reviewable. Here is Kern, the number 1 punter in the NFL, to let it fly. His gross is number 4. Deep back is Cyrus Jones. In the heavy Tennessee air. Jones into the whites, catch at the 42, hang of 4-5, and he goes to the 47-yard line, and hit on the play by Darren Bates on a 45-yard punt with a 6-yard return. Well, as part of the NFL's month-long Crucial Catch campaign, the Titans partnered with the American Cancer Society for a charity drive before the game benefiting the Memorial Foundation Hope Lodge here in Nashville. Additionally, all 69,000 fans here today received pink ribbons for breast cancer awareness. Prior to kickoff, Titans and St. Thomas Health honored breast cancer survivors on the field. Last time out there, Flacco hit Crabtree on a 4-yard touchdown pass. Here they begin with Collins in the backfield and a couple tight ends and a 1st and 10. Collins wrapped up by Austin Johnson, a gain of a yard to the 49.
Got to be alert on, especially the start of a series, 1st and 10. The Ravens like to take a shot. They love play action. They'll block them up. It'll be a 2 or 3 man route. You see a lot of that when you break down and do a 5-game analysis of the Ravens on 1st and 10, especially as they start a new possession.
One tight end here, 2nd and 9. Fake to Collins. Blocked by Lewis. Time for Flacco. Overshoots Snead. He hit him on a linebacker, too. Jan Brown was over there covering. Incomplete, 3rd and 9.
It's interesting. We're just early in this game, and they continue to try and attack in the middle of the field against these Titan linebackers. You see the play action fake. Gets a little bit of a hold on the linebackers, and they just can't squeeze this one in over the head of Jayon Brown.
In terms of 3rd downs this season, the Ravens still in the top 10, although they're coming off a dismal 4 of 16 3rd down conversion rate against Cleveland last week. 3rd and 9. And he's got him with a pinpoint pass for a 1st down to the 40-yard line. Bates makes the grab of the ball catcher right there, and that was Snead. A gain of 11 on 3rd and 9, put him at the Tennessee 40.
Willie Snead is so effective working between the numbers. He's a chain mover, just knows how to work in the middle of the field. Huge target for Flacco on 3rd down. He knows exactly how deep he has to get on that route.
You called him a gamer this week, and that's right. Huh? He's tough. 1st and 10. This is Edwards, who takes it in. Gus Edwards, a rookie free agent out of Rutgers, who's up because they have put DeLance Turner on IR.
Look at the impact that these receivers have made. Brown, and Snead, and Crabtree. The most receiving yards by players on a new team, 899 yards. These 3 are averaging just under 180 yards a game. Last season, the wide receiver position was a weakness. And it was a priority in the offseason, and Crabtree, Brown, and Snead had made a huge difference for Flacco.
Couple tight ends. Edwards remains 2nd down and 6. Hurst to block. He goes behind the other Hursts. Hayden Hurst, the #1 pick out of South Carolina, played last week for the first time this year after a stress fracture kept him out the first month.
He was a bit rusty. He had a good week of practice and preparation. They're excited about their young tight end. It's a very good route runner. John Harbaugh said we could probably see him as many as 25 snaps today against this Tennessee defense.
Allen is in 3rd and 6. Flacco for Brown. He's got him inside the 15. Working on Adoree Jackson. John Brown, big time catch on 3rd and 6. He gets 23 to the 13.
And pretty good coverage by Adoree Jackson. Just a good throw by Flacco. Watch the adjustment by John Brown. We know about his speed. He's a terrific route runner, but look at his leaps. I can't emphasize enough the importance of Crabtree, Brown, and Snead and what it's meant to this Baltimore offense.
Now Baltimore 6 of 6 on 3rd down today. 7th play of the drive. Moore. 1st and 10. Collins got a block. Hurst opens the door and he finds the end zone. Touchdown run of 13. Alex Collins.
Well, But you look at the movement they get up front, and you're going to see Collins. He's going to wind it back. He pauses for a minute, and then he finds a crease backside. But look at the movement from this Baltimore offensive line. They do a terrific job handling that front, and then getting up on the second level and open up a huge hole for Alex Collins.
Right tackle James Hurst. He has met the expectations at that position. 13-yard touchdown run. Extra point, 14-0 Baltimore. 2 possessions, 2 scores. The Ravens in second place in the North. Look at this run by Collins to the end zone. 14-zip Baltimore. Rich, to think they had gone 22 times, 22 drives without getting the ball in the end zone. They've done it twice on 2 possessions today.
Well, Baltimore's looked terrific on the other side of it, Kevin. The Titans are struggling offensively, just 29th in scoring. Their average is just a little over 17 points a game. They've been held without a touchdown twice already this season. They've only scored 5 offensive touchdowns. They've got to get something going here. They could be in big trouble.
Tucker and Jennings is deep. They'll let it go out of the end zone to the 25 and a touchback, and it will be a 1st and 10. Well, tonight on CBS, see why critics are calling the new drama God Friended Me heartwarming and a truly original story. God Friended Me tonight after 60 minutes. Only CBS. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Steve Tasker is on our sideline. An impressive start for the Baltimore Ravens.
You look at the Titans, just 10 plays of offense. Time possession certainly a story. And when they can't run the ball effectively, they're going to struggle because of their personnel. At tight end and wide receiver, losing Walker, we talked about that. Kevin, was a crushing blow. And
into the nickel, 1st and 10 Mariota. He's got his receiver right there. Spinning catch made, Tajay Sharp. Hit by Weddle, 16-yard pickup just like that. They're up at their 41.
that's their first throw on 1st down. And they've got to be able to stretch this field a little bit more. Go after this secondary of the Ravens.
Easy. We go. 55. 55.
Still the nickel, 1st and 10. This is Lewis, the former Patriot. Well, whacked by a couple, including Weddle and Mosley. And you feel it when those 2 Pro Bowlers hit you. Gain of 7 on the play up to the 48.
Well, you know Dion Lewis isn't in the game to pass protect. He can. I'll tell you what, he can make a cut without losing speed. He's got that quick stop and start moves, and it was a tough tackle in space.
2nd down and 3. This is outside to Taylor. All kinds of flags. Smith is out there. Mosley is out there. Wasso's out there. Gain of a yard near the 49. Baltimore on top and a short touchdown pass, and then a touchdown run by Collins.
Holding, number 77, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
That's Luan, highest paid offensive lineman in pro football.
You didn't realize he could tackle too. Watch him. Watch what he does. Tavon Young doesn't have a chance. He'd be a good defensive tackle or defensive end.
Yes.
Gets him on the ground. Unfortunately, he can't look. But the thing I love about Taylor Lewan,
he's so
competitive.
My God.
And he is emotional. Just hope he keeps his helmet on today. The last time we did a Ravens game here, Kevin, remember he chucked his helmet on the sidelines? The crowd started going crazy.
Talk about losing your head.
They don't get a touchdown here, he may toss that helmet again.
Easy, flipper.
With a 2nd down and 13, Marcus Mariota underneath for Smith, who's been very quiet this season. Out of bounds he goes. Weddle is there with the hit. So is Zadarius Smith. It's a pickup of 12, and he gets to midfield.
Well, this is what they've got to be able to do. You mentioned Smith, Kevin. They've got to be able to get the tight ends going a little bit in this offense.
1st and 10. Make it 3rd and 1. Placement was off, and there was some conjecture on the sideline, but the flags are down, as you see, as whether they challenge that spot. They didn't see it.
Illegal shift, offense. All 11
It's all
players
for
did
naught
not
now.
get set
They
prior
weren't
to
set.
the snap. 5-yard penalty.
They tried to jump
Remains
the
3rd
ball.
down.
Yep.
Quarterback has to make sure they're set. You see left tackle still getting in the stance. Look at the receivers weren't set. Just a critical mistake. Can't have the negative plays against this defense.
180! What's that? 180! What's this?
It's a 3rd and 6. Blocked by Lewan. Time for the tight end on the move. The lumbering Luke Stocker. Caught the ball, takes it for 18. Put him at the 38 of Baltimore. Stocker, longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneer tight end.
They just watch this route. Nice patience. Look how wide open the middle of the field is. Just working on Tavon Young.
Yep, Young makes the tackle.
You wonder how difficult it is, Kevin, for Marcus Mariota to throw the ball with that glove, and there's the issue with his pinky and ring finger on this throwing hand.
In the pistol with Lewis. Look out, here they come, and from behind he's brought down. Owasso. First sack of the season. 4th sack of the day, registered by this terrific defense, back to the 44.
Well, keep an eye on Judon. He's the end man on the line of scrimmage. He's going to start and then stop like he's dropping. You see, and then he fools the right tackle. And that's pretty good work right there. Conklin thinks he's dropping. That's really a nice job there, and good coverage on the back end. Look, where's he supposed to throw it? You've got to be able to win against man-to-man coverage when you play the Ravens.
They split that sack. 2nd down, 17. Mariota now being chased here by Williams. And out of bounds. Williams has got a bad hamstring, but he had some pretty good speed there chasing the Tennessee quarterback. It is a gain of 4. He'll be just inside the Baltimore 40.
I think it's important not to underestimate the speed of Marcus Mariota, and the guys chasing him, Kevin. It's important not to overestimate your own speed.
Right.
I mean, this guy can run when he decides to pull it down. I think some of these defensive linemen and linebackers of the Ravens are starting to figure that out. You've got to keep Marcus Mariota in the pocket where he belongs.
5 defensive backs, 3rd and 13. They need the 27.
180! What's this?
Oh, he got away, and then Smith swats it. That's a sack. Another one by the Baltimore defense. Back to the 47. They are really playing well. 5th sack right there. Here comes the punting unit for Tennessee.
I think he hits the throwing hand of the quarterback. Just watch Darius Smith. He smacks him right in the hand. That can't feel good. You see Marcus Mariota, he had that ulnar nerve injury. It's one of the 3 main nerves in your arm, and it actually travels from your neck down to your hand, and that's really what's caused him problems since week 1.
Smith has his 2nd sack. Jones, fair caught, 12-yard line, hang of 4-4. This is the #1 3rd down defense in pro football. And my goodness, are they playing like it today. Tennessee had only allowed 9 sacks the first 5 games. Rich, they've allowed 5 today to that defense.
That's a problem. I mean, they've got no answer. I think that the communication's been an issue, Kevin. They've come up internally. They've come off the edge. You see Weddle talking to Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Ravens. He's done a terrific job in his first season, and Weddle told us he's humble, great communicator, and a wonderful teacher.
Collins and 1 tight end, 1st and 10. Sneed. Oh, read well by the former 1st-round pick out of SC, Adoree Jackson. There is no gain in the play. They stay at the 13.
Well, it's been a great start for this Ravens offense. Flacco looks terrific, 8 of 12, 100 yards and a touchdown. Early throw to Crabtree, good conversion here on 3rd down to John Brown. And, of course, Alex Collins finishes it off with a 13-yard touchdown run. The Ravens are firing on all cylinders.
Ravens have won 2 of their last 3. Here, Tennessee has won 12 of their last 14 home games. 2nd down and 10. Sneed to try the other side. Williams, the tight end, trying to block. And again, he gets knocked out. They had a couple over there, including Kamali Correa, former Baltimore 6th-round pick. It is a gain of 4.
Had a great conversation with defensive coordinator Dean Pease on Friday, and he said, hey, look, obviously I'm very familiar with Flacco and the Ravens personnel having been there, but know their calls and protections, but they also know who I am, and they know what I like. When we talk to the the Ravens, they said, look, if you look at first and second down, it looks very familiar to us. That's Dean Pease. Third down, that's more Mike Vrabel and what they did in Houston.
Into the nickel, 3rd and 6, looking for Snead. He had Lewis on one side, and he had Jackson on the other. It's 4th down, first 3 and out today for Baltimore.
Boy, Flacco throws a pretty ball. Willie Snead's not the fastest guy. He gets bumped there a little bit, but he does get behind the corner and the safety. That's the thing about Flacco. He's got a big arm. He can make all the throws.
First punt, here comes Sam Cook. 8 punts last week against Cleveland, 46 yards a punt. Corey Jackson is back. The rain has stopped. And Jackson's going to let this go wobbling out of bounds. Late in the first half. Touchdown run by Collins. Touchdown pass to Crabtree. 14-0 Baltimore.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Merck. And by Pizza Hut, official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
That's a good look at Robert Brazile, a 10-year linebacker for the Houston Oilers and a 7-time Pro Bowler. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame this past summer. Received his Hall of Fame ring from our friend Dave Baker earlier today. Robert Brazile, one of the best.
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom.
He was a beast.
Dr. Doom. Couple tight ends and Henry back in there. First down and 10. After the first 3 and out, first punt by Baltimore this afternoon. Derrick Henry. Stuffed. Pierce was in there. Clark at the bottom. Nice play there by Chuck Clark. No gain on the play. They stay at the 35. Steve, what do you have?
One of the things you might keep an eye on, Kevin, is that Terrell Suggs has been out of the game for the last little bit here. He's early in the game. He was on and off the field, taking a knee between plays. Now he missed that last 3rd down where they punted the football, or they got the strip sack of Mariota. He's still not on the field in this series as well, so it's something to keep an eye on.
Played a lot of snaps last week, Steve. You wonder if they're just giving him a rest.
2nd down and 10. Henry was in, offers a block, and that is thrown incomplete. It's off of Davis. Coverage on the play by Humphrey.
Well, the sacks have started to pile up for Mariota. You see Suggs, Wormley there, and of course, Darius Smith has been all over the field. Wasso gets one here. Smith again knocks the ball out of the throwing hand of Marcus Mariota. 5 sacks already in the first half.
Levine is in there right now for Martindale's defense. They got 6 defensive backs. 3rd down and 10. Lewis is the running back.
4th time today, Kevin, they've been in 3rd and long.
They're on the block. Look out, here they come. There's Suggs. In and down, and he got a helping hand that time from Willie Henry. 6 sacks. Only 5 all year long. 6 today. This Baltimore defense is going mad.
Well, you got the sense when we visited with the Ravens last night, they felt really good about this matchup. They said, look, if we can stop the run, and that includes Marcus Mariota, we should dominate today against this team. They feel they can play press man-to-man coverage against these receivers. They don't have to double, and they can bring extra pressure and extra rushers to get to Mariota.
Kern punting to Cyrus Jones. 31-yard line, hit by number 31, Kevin Byard. 46-yard punt, 5-yard return. Flag is on the play. Jones was on the practice squad, signed by New England, let go by New England, re-signed on Monday by Baltimore. They have had some returning issues, and they're trying to get that all straightened out. Let's see here.
Look at Judon. He
just because, you know, Kevin, it's one of those deals, it's a punter. What are you going to do, right?
Roughness. Receiving team number 99.
I just can't do it.
15-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
4:12, second quarter. 3-2 Baltimore, 3-2 Tennessee. A big day for the defense and offense of the Ravens. Rich and the Baltimore press want to talk about, should there be more balance? Why are they abandoning the run game? Well, so far, 14 passes, 13 runs.
It's pretty good balance if you ask me. And again, Flacco looks like he's in rhythm. He's comfortable. The protection's been good. They're just having their way
against this Tennessee defense.
After the fourth consecutive punt by the Tennessee Titans, it's 1st and 10. Here's a catch by Moore, but the ball popped out, as you saw. He picked up 2 initially.
Ruling on the field is the runner's down.
They're going to say
contact.
he was down
Second
by contact at the 18-yard line.
I think his right knee was down. He's just running that crossing route. Keep an eye on his right knee. The right knee is down, even the left knee before that ball starts to come out. Good look at Evans trying to rip and strip with that right arm. They work on ball extraction every day in practice. I saw him out there working on it on Friday when we visited with Tennessee. Mike Vrabel, he's a hands-on coach. He'll put shoulder pads on. He gets in the middle of drills with players.
Collins in for defensive back, 2nd down and 8. Oh, is he hit by Casey? Then finished off on the play by Daquan Jones. A loss of 2. He's back to the 16.
I don't know what they're trying to do here. You just watch Jarrell Casey. They block down, and then the tight end has to try and come back in and block Casey. You're asking a lot. Look at the guard, the right guard and tackle. They just turned their best defensive lineman, Jarrell Casey, loose on the back in the hole. When you're struggling offensively, you need a big play. You need a negative play, something for their defense. This would be a great place for a sack or a turnover.
Allen into the nickel, 3rd and 10. Flacco caught. Crabtree got it right in front of Logan Ryan. 19-yard pickup on 3rd and 10 to put him at the 36.
What was the talk all week about Crabtree and the drops last week? Look at this catch. Look at the concentration on the boundary from Michael Crabtree. I think he gets both feet in bounds.
He does.
Again, they're continuing to go after Malcolm Butler, who has struggled the first 5 weeks.
Challenge on the Tennessee sideline if he was in.
Tennessee is challenging the ruling of the field of a completed pass.
Oh my gosh.
We'll review the play.
Yes.
A great concentration there.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Pepsi. Carl Cheffers still looking over that play, conferring with New York. We think that Crabtree was in. What do you think?
I think he was in. He's got such strong hands, and I think clearly I was watching whether or not the ball moved when he actually gets knocked to the ground. But you see the extension, you see both feet in bounds, and even as he goes to the ground, it looks like he maintains possession. Better look at it from this angle.
Yeah, much better right there.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a catch. Controls the ball. 2 feet in bounds. Tennessee will be charged with their 2nd timeout.
Crabtree's 2nd, 3rd down reception. Both converted to 1st down.
You know, you see this a lot with players who had some struggles the week before, whether it's pass protection, drop balls. They come back the next week and they really have a great week of preparation, practice. The focus is better. And Crabtree's off to a terrific start today. 4 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown.
Edwards on 1st and 10. Transfer to Rutgers. He takes it in there. Hit by Evans. Picks up 3 to the 39.
And what did Marty Morningwig tell us last night? He said, for us to get where we want to go, Crabtree has to be really good for us. He has big play potential. And for whatever reason, he just had some struggles last week against the Browns.
He's been brilliant today.
This is the 2-minute
touchdown
warning.
pass to Crabtree. 13-yard touchdown run by Collins. 4 possessions, 4 punts by Tennessee. 2-minute warning.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Sonic. This is how you Sonic.
Broadway here in Nashville packed this weekend. Vandy was home. Titans are home. 2nd down. Long 6. 2-minute warning. Flacco. Deep and looking for Crabtree. And that ball may have been jarred away. Knocked away by the 2-time Pro Bowler Malcolm Butler. It's incomplete. It's 4th down.
Well, they're going after Malcolm Butler, aren't they? Good release by Crabtree and really good throw by Flacco. Butler just at the very end, I think, gets that hand in. Look at these numbers, Kevin. I mentioned that the struggles that this guy has had, especially in man-to-man coverage. He did a couple big plays a couple weeks ago against Philadelphia, then again last week against the Bills, and he's having some struggles today against the Ravens.
My mistake, it's 3rd and 6. Here comes Flacco, blocked by Hurst. And he's got his tight end caught by Andrews, who bounces back up and takes it inside the 45. Hit by Lewis, hit by a couple others, including Byard on the play. 17-yard pickup to the 43.
Look how clean the protection's been for Flacco as he finds his rookie tight end, Mark Andrews.
1st and 10. Flacco passing on 3rd down, 6 of 7. 6 first downs,
3rd and
5 different receivers.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I had been mistakenly said 4th down. It was 3rd down. That's the final timeout, Tennessee. Let's see if he was touched on this one as he vaulted back up. Mark Andrews, the rookie out of OU. Well, they got him clearly on his ankle there.
I'm not so sure, right? There it is. I think maybe that right knee is still down. Kendrick Lewis didn't get him for sure.
Well, coming up, the Verizon halftime report from New York. Join JB Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach Cowher for the latest NFL scores, news, and highlights. All coming up in the Verizon halftime report. The incredible win by Pittsburgh over Cincinnati. Steelers now 3-2-1 as the rain continues to drop here in Nashville, and it's been on and off all game long. See what they're trying to do here to this placement, because they've got a lot of cooks in the kitchen. They're trying to figure out where it should go. They're saying he was touched because that's where he was hit, Rich, at the 47-yard line. So that is it.
I don't think it was Kendrick Lewis that got him. It may have been Logan Ryan. Nonetheless, he's got him down at the 47. And it'll be 1st and 10.
So it was a 7-yard reception and a 1st down. Allen is in. Brown in motion. Nickel secondary. Flacco. Up the middle he goes, and down he goes near midfield about the 49-yard line. Chasing him right there. He did gain 2 as the rookie out of Boston College, Harold Landry, and they like him. He starts. Quickly rehuddling, 2nd down and 8 at the line. Flacco hit as he throws. Snead almost got it on the ricochet, pulled in by Byard. What a reception by the defensive back on the deflected ball off of Willie Snead's gloved hands. As the rain picks up, Flacco's thrown the pick. Snead couldn't grab it, but Byard did. Comes up with an interception.
Byard just always seems to be in the right place at the right time. He's the far safety. He's reading the eyes of Flacco. This ball gets tipped. Remember, Byard had 2 interceptions last year against Flacco and the Ravens, and one of them was a very similar play. You remember, very similar play. Flacco trying to throw the post backside, and Byard was there to get the easy scoop.
First interception this season. Last year tied for number 1 in the NFL with 8. Rich just said it. 2 last year here against the Baltimore Ravens.
You know what's amazing is the fact that the Titans, Kevin, have played so poorly on offense, and yet they're only behind 14-0.
Rain coming down as hard as it's come down all day long. For the 1st and 10, Lewis in the backfield. Mariota. He's got Taylor. Out of bounds, ushered by Marlon Humphrey. He's got the gain of 13. He's got a 1st down to his 36. One thing that has hurt this Tennessee offense, Rich, the lack of explosive plays, but they've had some nice chunks today. They've had an 18-yard gain through the air. Sharp caught one for 16. Right there they go to the receiver, Taylor. 1st and 10, no timeouts. It's Dion Lewis, Levine, and Humphrey losing a yard on the play. Whacked down the far sideline near the 35. Well, that target line, 29 yards away. for kicker Ryan Suckup. Had 4 field goals last week in Buffalo. All the Tennessee points. 2nd down 11. 6 again back there, including Levine for Baltimore's D. Going deep. And he had his receiver was kind of twisting and turning around, Corey Davis.
The problem is he's got to throw the ball so early because of the pass rush, Kevin. He's throwing this ball before the receiver is even out of the break. And that's tough on a quarterback. You can just see that Mariota's timing and his rhythm has sped up because of the fact he's already been sacked 6 times in the first half.
That's right. And Rich, now he's only 1 of 5 on 3rd downs coming into this important 3rd and 11.
You get to the quarterback early and it affects his ability to trust the protection. Sit in there, take the extra hitch, and be comfortable and confident enough to know that he's going to have time.
5th time they've had it 3rd and 10 or longer. Here's Lewis and a big-time stick by Judon. Gain of 2. I don't know about,
that call. Huh?
Wow.
Shows you the confidence that you have right now in your quarterback in the passing game. 3rd and 10, and you run that ball.
So, I'd like to remind you, if a timeout has been taken by Baltimore, the Verizon halftime report's getting put together for you right now in our cozy studios in New York. CBS, JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, Coach Cowher, scores, news, and highlights all coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
If I'm the quarterback, Kevin, I might walk over to that sideline phone and call upstairs and ask the play caller, Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, what was he thinking? I mean, just honestly, give me a chance. We're behind 14-0 at home. We haven't really done anything offensively. We've got a 3rd down. Let me try and throw it and get a 1st down and at least give our field goal kicker a chance with a couple more completions.
Kern, who was a Pro Bowl punter a year ago, sends it into the rain. And taken by Jones, hang a 4-2, breaking a couple tackles. And he's got an entourage. Judon with a block. And then taken down. Now look at this, Rich. Baltimore's got 2 timeouts. They've got 17 seconds. They're going to have the ball at their own 44 and a 26-yard return by Cyrus Jones, a one-time 2nd-round pick by the Patriots after that 45-yard punt.
Kevin, we saw him a couple weeks ago against the Dolphins. He's sure-handed. He attacks the ball in the air, and he's just real patient. It's an excellent return. That was a great addition for the Ravens, who have had some issues on special teams.
Okay, walk me through now what's in Flacco's mind here.
They got to hustle. They've got some timeouts. They can still attack in the middle of the field, but can't take a sack, obviously.
He's going to Allen on 1st and 10. It's bobbled and kept in, but he only gains about a yard to the 45.
Would have been better dropping that ball.
Timeout, Baltimore. A 30-second timeout.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this. 2nd down and 9, 10 seconds to go before the half. In the middle it goes. It's caught by Andrews, and he's brought down on the play by a couple on that defense, including Brown, and by Darren Bates. Gain of 12.
Baltimore has been really good in the final 2 minutes of the first half. 2 touchdowns and a field goal already the first 5 games, and now you give Justin Tucker a chance to bang one from about 60 yards.
They put some time on the clock, and John Harbaugh knew that. Now here's the thing with Tucker. He has made, Rich, 8 consecutive 50-plus yard field goals, 3 this year, and since 2016 he's only missed 6.
But they've already had a couple blocked this year, including one last week.
That's right. You've got 3 special teams blocks.
To make this kick, you've got to drive it. You can't put a lot of air on it and expect to make it from 60.
60-yard try. Yeah, there goes a flag. Thrown at the 42.
False start. Number 77. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
So, Rich, since 2016, he's missed 6.
Please.
Couple have been blocked, and then he's missed from 58.
Now you got to put Flacco back out there, kid. I just don't think with the weather the way it is that
Now you've made it just almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could maybe sign Graham Gano real quickly. How about that kick he made?
63 yards.
Wasn't that amazing? And it would have been good from 70. It hit the net.
Yep, that was.
I think you bring Flacco out. He's got plenty of arm to throw this thing in the back of the end zone.
And why not, right?
And give Crabtree or one of these receivers a chance to jump up and make a play. What Flacco's going to have to do here, though, Kevin, is extend the play a little bit. In other words, he's got to be able to drop back and maybe move to his right and buy some time for the receivers to get down the field. Now, the good thing about the receivers is they got a free release off the line of scrimmage.
Underneath, and then low to Crabtree, basically uncatchable on his shoestrings, and that's it. Well, the offense of Baltimore began the first half well, but boy, they sputtered, Rich, as they went into halftime.
They did not take advantage of some opportunities and some good field position in the second quarter.
Tennessee has had it 5. They've punted 5. We're at halftime. First, these highlights from Verizon and a word from CBS.
Want more stats? Hey Siri, who leads the league in passing yards?
Well, today here in Nashville, it's been a good showing for Joe Flacco with 158 through the air. Just 36 on the ground. But a shutout thrown by the Baltimore defense. So what does Tennessee have to do in the second half to get back in this game?
Well, how about first and second down efficiency on offense? I mean, forget about third down for a moment. Look, we know the Ravens have the best third down defense in football, but the Titans have to open things up on the early downs. I think getting some no huddle, getting some open formations, and be more aggressive with the play calling on the early downs. Give Marcus Mariota a chance to push the ball down the field.
6 sacks by that Baltimore defense. So to kick off is Ryan Succop. And deep back will be Chris Moore. He's going to take it from the 2. Initially tripped up on the play by Darren Bates. 20-yard return. Steve Tasker on the sideline.
I spoke to John Harbaugh going in at halftime. He said, listen, we're going to put this in the hands of our defense. If we control the ball on offense and force them to score more than us in the second half and not turn it over, we feel like it's going to be too much for them. And on the other side, I spoke to Mike Vrabel coming off. It's all about third down on both sides of the football. They've got to convert third downs offensively and find a way to get Joe Flacco off the field for the Baltimore Ravens.
Tennessee on third down, 1 of 6. Baltimore on third down, 8 of 9. Collins on first and 10. He's got a touchdown, run of 13 in this game. Picks up 3 right there. Takes it up to the 25. A lot in the pile, including Jayon Brown, the linebacker.
Well, the other thing they have to be able to do, the Titans, they've got to be able to push the pocket a little bit. You know, you think about Flacco, he's not the most mobile quarterback, but what bothers him more than anything is if you can get up in his face, if you can push the pocket, collapse the pocket from the inside, and they have not done a good enough job of that. You look at this Ravens offensive line, they've played really well inside, particularly in those A and B gaps, giving Flacco the opportunity to sit in there, set his feet, and make good, accurate throws down the field.
Tight end Williams in motion, second down and 7. Williams a clock, and here they come, and there he goes. Incomplete for Brown. Coverage on the play across the middle. Adoree Jackson.
Holding, number 68, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Center Matt Skura, who's replacing the now departed Ryan Jensen, who left and went to Tampa Bay.
Good look at Skura right in the middle of your screen there. That's a handful. He's getting some help from the left guard, Lewis, but he just grabs Jurrell Casey, the best pass rusher. He's an all-day sucker, Jurrell Casey. He doesn't take plays off. He's got a big-time motor.
Buck Allen is in, second down, 17. Snead, Redwell, Logan Ryan. Probably the best of the secondary, as Rich said in the open of the broadcast. There is no gain in the play. They stay at about the 15-yard line.
The thing I like about Logan Ryan is his versatility. He's terrific on the outside, playing outside the numbers, and then in third down, or when they get into their sub package, he jumps inside, and that's a much different world, but he's very good. He's got that suddenness, that change of direction ability to go in there and match up against guys like Willie Snead.
They faced 3rd and 10 or longer in that first half 5 times. 3rd and 17, they're 8 of 9 on third down today. They need the 32. And they got it with Snead in a thicket of defenders. Byard was there, the linebacker. Bates in the area. What a big-time catch by Snead. 23-yard pickup to the 38.
This is amazing, Kevin. We just talked about the issues in the middle of the field with the linebackers. Willie Snead, you're asking a lot from the linebacker in zone coverage to account for Willie Snead. That was 3rd and long, and they still found a way to convert. What did Vrabel say at halftime? 3rd down on both sides of the ball. We've got to find a way to get off the field on 3rd down.
Gus Edwards is in, led him in preseason rushing, gets the call right here. Edwards, a rookie free agent out of Rutgers, knocked off his horse by J.N. Brown, gain of 9 at the 48-yard line.
The great thing about John Harbaugh, he'll sign you early in the week and he'll play you on Sunday. He don't care.
Rushing attack, 25th by Baltimore. 2nd down 1. And once again, it's Gus Edwards for 2. And the first as he gets to midfield.
Boy, the Ravens have been really good in 2nd and 1s, 3rd and 1 situations. In fact, in 3rd and 1 situations, they're the best in football. They're short yardage and goal line. They have a good offensive line. They get good movement off the ball. And they get backs that head downhill and smack it up in there.
Collins in, 4 defensive backs, 1st and 10. More in motion, and Flecker down the middle. Here, he's got Snead again. Byard there, Evans there. Another 1st down, 14-yard pickup. He is surgically moving downfield to the 36.
And if there's a weakness, it's right here. I mean, right in the middle of the field. Whether it's the linebackers, whether it's the safety inserting. You see Kendrick Lewis there. I mean, these are big gaping holes. And look at the time that Flacco has in the pocket. I mean, they're not even getting around him.
Well, you've talked about your film study showed a lot of good pass blocking by this team. 1st and 10. Collins. The foul pulling Ronnie Stanley. That left tackle picks up a yard and gets to the 36.
And Marty Morningwig's done a nice job as the offensive coordinator. He told us last night that the biggest difference between last year and this year is a healthy Joe Flacco. And I think the fact that he had all of training camp, and I don't think it hurt Kevin that they went out and drafted Lamar Jackson either. You know what I mean? You draft a quarterback in the 1st round, a Heisman Trophy winner out of Louisville. And that has a tendency to light a little fire under you, but regardless, Flacco has responded. He's played well and got this team in a position to go on the road and get a win.
2nd down 9. They come off the edge, and that's where he throws. And it's grabbed by the tight end, Nick Boyle. And Boyle is down to the 27-yard line. Picks up 8 on that play.
You know, this is a top 10 defense. I mean, the Ravens are kind of having their way with this Tennessee defense. And I think part of it is their substitution patterns, the different personnel that's on the field, the different formations, the motions. They do a good job changing things
Number
up.
78 reports as eligible.
Now you've got Orlando. You got the big tackle to bring an extra tackle in the game, Orlando Brown Jr. So you get 3 tackles on the one side.
3rd round rookie out of Oklahoma, 3rd and 1. Buck Allen in the backfield.
13 to their last 15 they've converted in 3rd and 1.
1st charge, timeout, Baltimore.
So a quick timeout. Baltimore is moving, taking the opening kickoff of the 2nd half. 9:53 in the 3rd. 3rd and 1 facing Baltimore, moving the first possession of the 2nd half downfield. They just called a timeout.
Number 78 reports as eligible. 78 is an eligible receiver.
Orlando Brown stays in the game. Collins carving his way on that 3rd and 1 to the 25, has the 1st down. Picking up 3 on the play.
They run right behind Orlando Brown Jr. He's a big man. Why not?
Know about his dad. He has a history. His late father has a history with this organization.
6'8", he's 350 pounds. I think if I was a running back, Kevin, I think I'd run behind 78 as well.
10th play of the drive. They've gotten Snead, a 23-yard pass, and a 14-yard pass. Boyle for 8.
Please set the game clock to 9:38.
And they're taking out Alex Lewis.
Thank you.
They bring in Bradley Bozeman, who is a rookie out of Alabama, 6th round pick. First down and 10. Collins. Oh, we got a block in there from Boyle, which takes him to the 19. Then he's brought down in the play by Kendrick Lewis, a former Baltimore Raven, on a gain of 6.
Boy, really nice cut. He starts the play side and winds it all the way back. Good kick out block by Boyle.
Number 78.
He also makes Byard miss as well. Good suddenness with not so great footing. That turf.
Last year he began on the practice squad, ended up having the 9th best yards per carry in the NFL. What a great story it was for Alex Collins. Second down and 4. Collins again. And
False start.
flags, yes.
You know what it was? It was the left guard, Kevin, that came in for
Bozeman.
Yep, came in for Lewis.
False start. Number 72.
A little
Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Lewis back in there, maybe?
Remains.
He
Second
came
down.
right back in. I didn't see that. It's a little antsy here. You're just going to see him jump. It's right here. Nope.
Lamar Jackson's just come in. Second down and 9. Lewis is coming off, by the way, his best game.
Watch Joe Flacco. This is great. Watch how enthusiastic Joe Flacco is up here. Watch what he does. Nothing.
Jackson will run. Buck Allen a block. Here comes the Heisman Trophy winner out of Louisville. That's why they got him, or one of the reasons why. Down to the 2, hit by a combination of Ryan and Lewis. A 22-yard run by Lamar Jackson.
Well, it's really no surprise. I mean, they do this a lot. Just watch the action. It's a little sweep to the left. And as I looked at the film this week with Lamar Jackson, when he's in the shotgun, he either hands it off or he runs. Very rarely does he throw it.
Ravens were the only team in the NFL that did not have a run over 20 yards this season until right there. Longest of the season, 22-yard run. First and goal at the 2. There was a nice block by Williams that opens the door. Another touchdown run by Alex Collins. This one of 2 yards. What a drive.
Just watch Max Williams. He's lined up at the fullback. Watch the kick out block that he gets, and that allows the back to watch Max Williams. He goes in there and just swallows up the end man on the line, the scrimmage safety, Kendrick Lewis, and that allows Alex Collins to go untouched into the end zone. Made that look too easy.
Collins 2 rushing touchdowns. Sends a loud and distinct message to begin the second half here in Nashville today. Tucker will make it 21-0. 2 touchdowns on the ground. Alex Collins, this time from 2.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Snickers. You're off your game when you're hungry. Eat a Snickers. Downy keeps your clothes looking like new longer. And by the Crown Royal Water Break. Moderate your drinking on game day.
Rich, the Baltimore Ravens open the game on a long drive, and they open the second half on a long drive. Talk about scripted plays and making adjustments at halftime. They've done that at the beginning of each.
Yeah, they're really good at coming out of the half. They've got 3 touchdowns and a field goal already this season. Talk about the importance of halftime adjustments. And Kevin, that's demoralizing to let a team get the opening kickoff and drive down the field, go up 21-0.
Tucker to kick off, and deep back Darius Jennings. 3-2 Baltimore, 3-2 Tennessee. Out of the end zone to the 25-yard line. And a touchback. Marcus Mariota.
Well, they're struggling throwing the football. And like this doesn't help when your quarterback's dealing with a hand injury and gets the ball knocked out, gets hit right on that throwing hand. He misses a big opportunity here to a wide open Taywan Taylor. The timing and the rhythm hasn't been great. Again, we go back and look at this injury, Kevin. Basically, his whole arm went numb after he got hit in week 1. And much of the feeling in his fingers just simply wasn't there. And as a result, he's had to wear that glove on those 2 fingers.
Derrick Henry is in. It's a 1st and 10. And around his ankles, he finds Tony Jefferson, the leading tackle on this Baltimore defense. It is a gain of 3 to the 27.
You know, I watched Marcus throw the ball on Friday. I thought no issues. And again, I've watched him warm up, and I don't. the thing that he said is that the strength simply isn't there and the control, and that's why he's put this glove on. And any quarterback doesn't want to wear a glove. That's why he took the first 3 fingers off, because he wants to be able to feel the football in his fingers. But the ball's a little slick. They're not great at passing game right now, and this isn't going to get any easier against one of the best pass defenses in football.
2nd down and 7, and Brent Urban was among a couple in there to make a nice stop, along with Kenny Young. They do get a gain of 2. They're near the 30. Let's go to Steve on the sideline.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys talk about Mariota and that glove on his hand. I think the most disconcerting thing, and Rich, you can speak to this as well, it doesn't seem to be getting better. He was going to miss an entire game. Then the backup quarterback here, Blaine Gabbert, went in and he had to replace him because of an injury. He's playing in perhaps a situation where he didn't want to play, and now he's trying to play through an NFL season whilst trying to rehab an injury to his throwing hand, and it's just not going to get any better.
Yeah, it takes time. I mean, just there's, you look at that injury, it's not going to require surgery. It's just that the feeling has to come back, and so he's been doing a lot of work with squeezing balls and trying to get the dexterity back in the fingers. But you look, this game's hard enough when you're healthy, and when you're not at that position and you're trying to throw a football, the grip is as important as anything, Kevin, and I think that's part of the issue, one of the reasons why he's wearing the glove. But the other thing is that he's without, obviously, the best tight end that they have, and one of the better tight ends in football, Delaney Walker, and they're so young at the receiver position. I mentioned that the position to me seems like it's constantly in flux. They were banking on last year's top pick, Corey Davis. They moved on from Rashard Matthews, a couple weeks ago. They moved on from Decker and Douglas in the offseason. You're counting on some young players, and most of them are second-year players. Tajay Sharp's a third-year player.
Spain is out with an injury. Levin has come in to take his place at the guard. 3rd and a long 5. Levine is in, 6 in the secondary. Mariota, up the middle they come. They got him from the side with Henry and Jefferson. 7 sacks on Marcus Mariota by this terrific defense of Baltimore. And the punting unit takes the field for Tennessee.
Yeah, they're just confusing him with all these different looks. You've got Weddle's up there, and then he's not, and then they bring Tony Jefferson down. And some are rushing, some are dropping. You can just see the confusion, and where you see it is in the feet. The feet tell you everything right now with Marcus Mariota. He's confused with all the different looks the Ravens are giving him on 3rd down.
Brett Kern to punt off the side of his foot. Horrible punt. This is by one of the best in pro football and a Pro Bowler a year ago. Wow. The defense has played a magnificent game in Nashville for the Ravens today.
Well, back here in Tennessee, we talk about the importance of disguising your intentions. You look at Weddle's down in the box. He's going to get out before the snap. You're going to see Tony Jefferson. He comes down, and watch who is in on the sack. I mean, I don't think Mariota ever feels Tony Jefferson come screaming off the edge.
After the punt of 28 yards, Collins in the backfield. 1st and 10 from midfield and devoured. Nice tackle there by Casey. Picks up 3. Put him down to the 47-yard line. Flacco today, 19 to 27 through the air. They've had 27 passes and 23 runs. Again, a topic in the press among the media in that area, that Baltimore area, was, is there enough balance? Did they abandon the run game? But now they got a sizable lead, so it'll take you down that road. 2nd and 7, Flacco, that was deflected at the line. May have been Austin Johnson again as they were looking outside for John Brown. Maybe the linebacker Landry moved up there. It was hard to see. There was so much
I think
congestion.
it was Landry.
I think it was Landry. How about Baltimore on 3rd down, Rich? I mean, I hate to keep beating it, but they're 10 of 11 on 3rd down conversions.
That's impressive. A lot of it has to do with protection. Kevin Flacco has been. The reason there's some mud on that jersey is from him sliding.
Okay, that one is in. 3rd and 7. And for Crabtree, incomplete at the 25. Coverage across the way by Malcolm Butler. So here comes the punting unit. Sam Cook for the Ravens.
Some gold right there. Every time I see Crabtree wear that gold, I think of the Denver game.
Was it Aqib Talib?
Aqib Talib, and not once, but twice.
Yes.
Remember? We did a Raiders game out there last year. The two of them got ejected for Aqib Talib ripped that gold chain off. You thought maybe Michael Crabtree, but stopped wearing the gold chain.
Sam Cook, since 2014, his net is ranked in the top 5. Great hang, well placed, saved by Moore, and then collected inside. What a terrific play by Moore, and Jones is the one to down it. 46-yard punt. Chris Moore kept it alive. Cyrus Jones plants it. Good punt by Cook.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC. It's finger licking good. And by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the NFL.
Back in Nashville, where the defense has been terrific by Baltimore. After the punt.
180!
On the 2, it's 1st and 10. Lewis so stacked up and brought back there by Patrick Owasso. Yard gain on the play.
And to make matters worse for the Titans, Kevin, check out this graphic. I mean, they really clamped down on defense in the second half. They've not allowed a second half touchdown all season. And they've allowed just 12 second half points so far this season, which is the fewest in the NFL. And the big reason why is that man right there, Don Wink Martindale. He's done a terrific job. And I think this is a defense that's taken on his personality. They're aggressive, they attack, and they get after you.
2nd down and 9. Yep, not a single second half touchdown allowed by this defense this year. Mariota. And now he is running for his life. Up the sideline and finds a nice gain. They had Zadarius Smith in pursuit, but he slipped away and picks up 21.
Well, this is, look, when it's not there, he's looking for lanes and opportunities to pull it down. And Ravens talked all week about securing the pocket, not allowing Mariota a chance to get out on the edge.
Five defensive backs.
180!
First and 10, Deion Lewis, the cutback, and just nothing there. Looks one way, goes the other, hit by a couple, including Michael Pierce, playing today for the first time after some foot injuries over the last couple games, losing 2 back to the 22.
Well, he's really playing well, Kevin. I just look at the penetration up inside him. If you're Deion Lewis, where are you supposed to run the football? He's just a great job disguising their intentions. And you look at Eric Weddle. He's the guy that makes it all go. He's kind of the air traffic controller. He's back there. He's up the line of scrimmage. He's telling this guy to blitz, this guy to drop.
2nd down 12, Mariota. And he's got his receiver, and that is Corey Davis. Hit by Weddle. 24-yard gain on the play. Jimmy Smith back there too. Longest play of the day. First catch for him to the 46.
In a critical situation, that's usually where Marcus Mariota looks, is to Corey Davis.
Fewest long plays of any team in the league. That was about as long as they've had this year.
Here we go, Patty!
Just look at all the talking that goes on in the Ravens defense.
It's down in 10 here. They come off the edge. Tavon Young can't get him, but he forces that throwaway. Young, just about, and Young's playing with a bad hip today. He's already got a couple sacks. Had a pick last week in Cleveland. He came rushing off that side.
Yeah, look, I mean, the quarterback, Kevin, doesn't even see him. I mean, this is amazing. He's turning his back. He doesn't see him almost until it's too late. He just throws it away. There's no one even on that side of the field. Again, he's outside the pocket. Boy, they're sub-package. You look at all the communication that takes place. The defensive line's talking, the linebackers are talking, the nickel slots. Weddle's talking to the corners and the other safety. There's so much movement on that side of the ball, it makes it so difficult.
They're going to go second down 10, screen pass, looking for a block. And Lewis picks up 5. He gets into Baltimore territory to about the 49-yard line.
Really enjoyed the conversation last night with Eric Weddle, and he said, look, the thing that drives me crazy is I don't want the quarterback to know what we're doing. I think it's important to keep him guessing, and that's why he does such a terrific job moving around, trying to fool the quarterback, and constantly changing up the looks in that secondary.
Brandon Carr made that last tackle. Third down and 5. Mariota again. Oh, that time he's going to be lassoed by Kenny Young. And he's been playing well. The rookie out of UCLA. 8th sack. 8 sacks by Baltimore's defense. They're the #1 scoring defense in pro football, and they're pitching a shutout in Nashville today.
And watch Kenny Young. He's really spying on the quarterback. He's going to step up, but he knows he's got that quarterback, and as soon as Mariota decides to leave the pocket, Kenny Young is waiting for him.
Young, second sack. Punt by Kern. Jones back there, 15-yard line, hang a 4.65, 37-yard punt. Flacco and the offense back out there for the 3-2 Ravens, who have won 3 games and lost 2 coming in. Well, families affected by Hurricane Michael urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to these families. Donate today by going to redcross.org or text Michael to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Hurricane Relief. The devastation immense, and anything you can spare will be appreciated. 15-yard line. It's a 1st and 10 for Joe Flacco. 19-29, 2:01, a pick and a touchdown today. Collins on 1st and 10. Grabbed by a couple. Casey was there. We have the gain of 3, also hit by Jayon Brown. Put him to about the 18.
For whatever reason, you know, you look at the numbers and they just haven't run the ball well offensively. They're just 25th in rushing. It's hard to figure out, Kevin. They've got some big tight ends that can block. The offensive line has played together for the first 6 weeks. You know, like Alex Collins, he's a kind of a good blend of quickness and power. He runs hard, and yet just the production hasn't been there on the ground. Even today, you look at the numbers. 90 rushing yards, but they've had a bunch of carries.
2 rushing touchdowns by Collins, a short touchdown pass to Crabtree. Let's go to the 4th. We'll return to Nashville on CBS after this. So look at our day so far. Shut out by the defense. Flacco with the touchdown pass and a pick. Mariota's numbers. 2nd down and 7 beginning the 4th quarter. Flacco easily. Oh, a nice catch there by Crabtree if he was in. Flag thrown as you saw. Mark him out at the 35. 17-yard pickup as it stands. Working on the secondary. Cruikshank along with Butler.
A little push right there to create some separation. You see that?
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 21, defense. That penalties declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
And, Butler's been struggling a little bit this season, Rich. That's a 17-yard pickup.
Teams are going after him, Kevin.
Yeah, they are.
You look at, you mentioned the struggles, and now he's coming out of the game.
Crabtree, 5 catches, 89 yards. 4-yard touchdown pass. It had some heat on it, and he had to contort to get it on the first possession of the game. Collins in, multiple tight ends, 1st and 10. Up the middle they come. And down the middle he goes. Incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Well, without question, the most improved position in this organization for the Ravens has been the wide receiver position. I mean, just great additions in the offseason. Crabtree with a touchdown. John Brown's got rare and unusual speed. And, of course, Willie Snead, Mr. Everything. He's tough, he's durable, and go in the middle of the field and mix it up with the big boys. And that, to me, has been just the magic of Ozzie Newsome. It was a major issue and a weakness a year ago, and it was addressed in the offseason.
Edwards on 2nd and 10. about a yard.
You looked at numbers today, and John Brown's been quiet. Had the big catch early in the first quarter, but look at Snead, 6 catches. A lot of them have moved the chains and a little extracurricular activity. See Marcel Yonder right in the middle of it.
It may have been a late hit. Baltimore player down. Lineman.
Yeah, Lewis is going to pull,
Yep.
and he came out of the game earlier, Kevin, and there you just see the kick out block, and he goes right to the ground right afterwards.
Injury timeout in Nashville. The down player for the Baltimore Ravens is left guard Alex Lewis. Told you earlier, probably coming off his best game of the season last week at Cleveland. They brought the card out there, as you can see, and they are going to put him on the board. He made the block, and there's the aftermath.
We knew right afterwards that something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He wisely goes to the ground to protect himself. Right side of your screen, he's going to get the kick out block there, and looks like he's in good position. His head is up. He's square to the target. It just, for whatever reason.
Alex Lewis is a third-year player out of Nebraska. Didn't play last year because of a shoulder injury. Went on IR, 4th-round pick. Played at Nebraska. That's where his dad played, too. His dad was an All-America as a center for the Cornhuskers. Went and played in the NFL. Bill Lewis for 7 seasons with 4 teams. Starting left guard this year, and as is normally the case, players on a knee with their own thoughts on the Baltimore sideline as they go and assist. There are over 30 medical people at every NFL game. More like 35, but at least 30, and there are x-ray machines and all kinds. It's like a mini hospital here, and they go through so much precaution. Rich, I mean, if anybody knows about this kind of situation where you're taken off in a stretcher, it's you. And Baltimore was a team that you were involved with in a very crucial time in your career with an injury.
Yeah, look, as you mentioned, Kevin, so many medical staff professionals on hand for every game to provide the players the care, really from head to toe, from neurotrauma consultants to orthopedists. And so they give these players great care, as they should. And you get a chance to go into the locker room to get examined. They have x-ray machines, and some facilities they even have MRI imaging machines, so that you can get a real good sense of what the player's situation is before you'd even attempt to put them back on the plane and head back to Baltimore.
Steve Tasker, you have a view on that sideline.
Yeah, and given the experience that I've seen with injuries like this, you see now that the Baltimore Raven players are coming out now. Usually, and I don't want to sound callous, but they know if it's really serious, they don't leave that guy. They are huddled around him until they lift him up and put him on the cart. These guys moved all the way back over to the sidelines, and then when they brought him up, put him on the cart, then they wanted to come over and give him their best. But Kevin, you and I worked the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game last year on Monday night when Ryan Shazier went down on a fairly innocuous hit, which is exactly what this looked like as well. But today, Shazier walked back out onto that same stadium floor with his Pittsburgh Steelers almost a season later. But you can always get a sense of the players on the same team as the player who's injured, how serious they believe it is. Now, while it does appear that he's going to leave the stadium, and the players kind of realize the medical people are a lot of times very cautious, and even if the player's conscious and responding, sometimes they will take them off the field like this because of the symptoms.
Alex Lewis. When we find out, you will find out. As he will leave the field for a thorough examination. And he couldn't be in better hands. And we will update that as soon as we can. So Bradley Bozeman will again take his place, the rookie out of Alabama. 3rd down and 9 on the 36-yard line.
Flacco 8 of 10 on 3rd down. All 8 completions have gone for first downs.
The blitz. Byard was coming. He disrupted the play. And it's 4th down, and here comes Sam Cook to punt.
Well, he times it up perfectly. You're going to see Byard. He comes screaming right up inside between the center and guard, and he is unaccounted for.
By the way, Flacco has dropped back 32 times to throw. He has not been sacked today.
Good job by Flacco avoiding a negative play, simply throwing it away with a 21-0 lead.
Cook to punt. Rain is stopped. Basically a windless night here in Nashville. Adoree Jackson. Plenty of coverage. Out of bounds. Somewhere inside the 30. Let's call it the 29, 36-yard punt. CBS Super Bowl season continues next Sunday with a triple-header. First live from London, Tennessee will take on the LA Chargers. Then Brady and New England clash with Khalil Mack in Chicago. Followed by an NFC East showdown when Dallas will take on Washington, Rams in San Francisco. The NFL Today will start the day at 9 Eastern and then return after the London game. All next Sunday on CBS.
The Titans head to London next week to take on the Chargers. Be a good one.
Chargers beat Cleveland today. Lewis in the backfield. Mariota 1st and 10. Look out. Here they come. There he goes. Hit by a couple on the play. It's the 9th sack. Judon was there. Coming up was Kenny Young. They throw him back to the 20, back downstairs to Steve.
Yeah, just got an update on Lewis, the offensive lineman who was just left on the card. They're going to take him to Vanderbilt Hospital. He did have a little bit of a neck injury, but he's got movement and feeling in all of his extremities, and it seems at this point to be a precautionary measure.
Thank you so much for that, Steve. With Fersker making the catch, and a gain of 7. Second catch today by Fersker, is a first-year player out of Harvard. 3rd down and 11. Levine in, sits in the secondary. They need the 38. It's incomplete. Davis with the coverage on the sideline by Marlon Humphrey.
They're not even on the same page, Kevin. We've seen this a couple times today with Mariota and Corey Davis. I mean, Davis not even out of the break. The ball's out. You talk about the importance of timing and rhythm in the passing game, receivers getting the proper depth, the quarterback taking the proper footwork. You just watch this ball sail over the head of Corey Davis. And they're not doing a good enough job winning and separating against man-to-man coverage.
Brett Kern. Cyrus Jones out of bounds at the 20-yard line. 53-yard punt. Defense continues to throw a shutout for Baltimore in Nashville on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. Corona Extra. Find your beach. And by Walt Disney World Resort.
There, he finally got it. Good for him.
And he's about 0 for 4 there for a while. It's like the Titans on 3rd down. It's been bad.
Thanks to our producer, Jonathan Siegel, and our director, Mark Grant. 1st and 10, Flacco outside. Brown, who then is wrestled down by Adoree Jackson. And a gain of 5. Out to about the 26-yard line.
We were just talking a moment ago, 8 possessions for the Titans on offense, 8 punts. And as a former offensive player, all I can tell you is that I'm glad I'm not going to be in that offensive meeting room tomorrow watching that tape. There's going to be a lot of constructive criticism and feedback levied against Tennessee offense, which has been a non-factor today against this Ravens defense.
Bozeman continues to replace the left guard, Lewis. Randall Brown is checked in, 2nd down and 5. It's Collins. lot of traffic in there, not much of a place to go. And you can see everyone's got kind of, including Correa. It is a gain of 4. Kamali Correa was a 6th-round pick by Baltimore. And he's a 2nd-round pick, by Baltimore. Traded for a 6th-round pick back in late August to Tennessee.
Another 3rd and 1. They've had a couple of them today. They're 15 of 17 on the season in these situations.
There's Correa. 3rd and 1. Collins. And falls ahead. Should have the first, or at least very, very close to it. With Byard around his ankles. And also Evans.
Good effort here at the end, just leaning forward, falling forward.
They're going to take a measurement. It's that close.
I think he's got it. You know, I'm looking at the way this Ravens team is built right now, Kevin, and just in terms of how well they're playing defensively. They're so good in the kicking game with Justin Tucker, Sam Cook, their coverage units, their return units. And the way the offense is starting to come on, and with the additions that they've made at the receiver position, I mean, this will be a tough team to beat. And you know, it's reminiscent of some of their Super Bowl teams in terms of how well this defense is playing. They're just about top 5 in every major statistical category, and that takes a lot of the weight and the pressure off the shoulders of Joe Flacco. You just go out and play and not worry about scoring a lot of points.
1st and 10, throw outside. Crabtree got it as the fake went to Buck Allen. And he picks up 4 in the play just to finish up that 3rd down. Baltimore on 3rd and 1 is now 3 of 3 today. And Rich on 3rd down. Raven offense 11 of 14. Baltimore has won 2 of their last 3. A win would mean they have won 2 of their last 3 road games. Next week they'll host New Orleans. 2nd down and 6. And this is Gus Edwards working his way up to the 40 and tackled on the play by Arakpo. Gain of 4.
Well, they're always at their best when they're able to run it. The run it sets up the pass and not the other way around. Look at those numbers. When they run it 27 or more times, 78 and 12 under John Harbaugh. And when the numbers go the other way, the record isn't so good. And again, I think that's the key. Flacco loves the play action game, and he's so good at it. So when they're able to run the football, that sets up the big shots down the field to John Brown and to Crabtree.
3rd and 2. Edwards in, gets the call. And then Pyle drives his way for the 1st down. Hit by Logan Ryan. Picks up 11 on 3rd and a couple. 1st down, Baltimore.
Just look at the movement up front, especially on the right side of that offensive line. Yanda and Hurst. They're going to knock that whole left side of that defensive line backwards. Look where Jarrell Casey is. 7 yards down the field. This offensive line has really performed well today.
Rich, 3 shutouts last year by Baltimore. We did one of them in Green Bay.
Yeah,
you and I did.
And they led the league in takeaways, Kevin. And you look at what they're doing on defense, the sacks, the takeaways, they're creating a lot of positive situations for their offense.
7th play of the drive. Edwards again, 1st and 10. Brought down that time by Evans.
Somebody was holding. There's a bunch of yellow flags.
A lot of yellow.
Holding. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Skura, the center. Flacco today, 22 of 34. 227, a touchdown and a pick. Collins, 2 rushing touchdowns.
Well, my concern coming into this game, Kevin, was the Titans going to be able to do enough offensively to make this a game? They're not running it well, and the passing game is awful. They're 29th in passing, and just a very difficult time stretching the field.
That was offsides. There's a throw. Crabtree working on Butler on that 1st and 20. 29 runs today, 34 passes today for Baltimore.
Offside. Defense.
From Daquan Jones.
Correction. False start. Number 87. Offense.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That is on Max Williams, the tight end.
Well, they both moved at the same time, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, well, just you go back and watch it from the end zone camera, and you're going to see Max Williams. He's going to move. Just watch. Let me just let me identify him. Watch him. They both move at the same time. Just watch. Oh. You can't tell me that one threw the other one off sides. It's called synchronicity.
Is that what he's called?
Yeah, isn't that right? Symmetry, synchronicity, something like that.
No, I like it. No,
everybody going at the same time.
I'm just surprised that word. That's a good word. Even Flacco, a couple of Delaware guys talking last night. That was kind of fun. 1st and 25. Fake to Collins. And they get it off to the tight end Boyle, who has to
another Delaware guy.
That's right. There he goes losing
They're all over
one.
the place.
He got down to the 34, so he loses a yard. Tonight, President Donald Trump sits down with 60 Minutes for an important conversation about accomplishments and controversy. That's tonight only on 60 Minutes. Approaching 7.5.
If you're Flacco, you start milking the clock. Just take your time. Don't snap the ball before 3 or 4 seconds on that play clock, and just get out of here and move on.
2nd down and 26. Snead will get a block. Boyle had a block for Collins. And he's brought down from behind by the rookie out of Alabama, Rashaan Evans. So he picks up 6. He gets to the 40. Collins has had those touchdown runs today. 54 yards for Collins. 35 for Edwards. Rushing today for Baltimore. Buck Allen's only carried the ball once for a yard. Buck Allen has caught 3 for 18. Titans today have only had 6 plays in Baltimore territory. 3rd and 20. They need the 40 of the Titans.
Something quick or a draw or screen.
False start. Number 37. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Buck Allen, whose hometown is in the panhandle of Florida. You know about the ravage of Hurricane Michael. His thoughts are with his family down there. What they tell us yesterday, they trust him with everything. They just know that he can do so much. He was called for the penalty there, but he's, in their opinion, a very reliable guy.
Very reliable, very dependable. He knows what to do in a critical situation. He's good in protection. He's good in the passing game. And he's a tough runner as well.
They're down in 25. They need the 40 of Tennessee. They're outside here to Snead, who is grabbed by Ryan and hit by linebacker Darren Bates and picks up 9. Takes it to the 43, 44, 43-yard line. And the punting unit for Baltimore is out there. Going back for the Tennessee Titans will be Cameron Batson, who is a rookie from Texas Tech. First time we've seen him today. And Sam Cook, who is number 3 and punts inside the 20 this season. Batson from the 12. And then brought down. McClellan was down there. A guy they had cut and then brought back. And the special teams ace comes up with a big play. 45-yard punt. 5:35 to play in Nashville. That will be in headlines. 9 sacks today. No points. The defense of Baltimore, a wonderful job. 8 different players with a sack for the Ravens D.
Yeah, Mariota's been under constant duress. 9 sacks, 11 hurries. There's been a bunch of hits and knockdowns as well. And at some point, Kevin, they may think about getting him out of the game. Gabbard in there.
With the 1st and 10, Mariota. Pressure again, sacked again. Brought down this time by Patrick Owasso.
Keep in mind,
he's been active today. First sack for him here in the second half and a loss of 7.
keep in mind your quarterback's coming off of an arm and hand injury and still not 100%. He's taking a beating. And you may want to think about getting him out of the game. They can't hold up in protection, and he's got nowhere to go with the football.
10 sacks. 10.
Jeez, man.
Henry in the backfield, second down and 17. Conklin a block. And a tackle by C.J. Mosley. 3-time Pro Bowler, gain of 6 to the 10.
You look at, we talked in the early part of this game, Kevin, and I said the importance of the running game, right? Derrick Henry's got 7 carries for 21 yards. And 7 carries for a guy that's used to carrying the ball 25 times a game in college is just, you know, when they're struggling throwing the football, their only chance right now is to crank up the running game to a respectable level. They're good enough defensively to keep you in games, good enough in the kicking game, but offensively is what's holding back the Titans right now.
So that 10 sacks, 10 completions, third down and 11. Marcus Mariota. Oh my goodness. Devoured on the play by Zadarius Smith.
That's 3 for him, isn't it?
Yes, it is. 3 for him, 11 for the defense. 11 sacks by Baltimore today on Tennessee quarterback Marcus Mariota.
Look at Smith. He's just waiting on him. I mean, they're just harassing Mariota. They're doing a good job setting the edge, and they're getting push up inside, and they're bringing 5. I mean, most of the time it's been 5-man pressures that have gotten home against Mariota.
Kern to punt. This could be the 3rd game in the last 4 that they have failed to score a touchdown. Speaking of the Titans offense. From the 50-yard line, Cyrus Jones. Tripped up by Bates. $14-yard return. Some of the early headlines. A terrific game-winning touchdown catch and run by Antonio Brown. Pittsburgh goes to 3-2-1. Brock Osweiler took the place of the injured Ryan Tannehill and leads him to a win in overtime over Chicago. And then Gordon and the Chargers cream the Browns.
How about Adam Thielen? Another 100-yard receiving game for him. That's now 6 straight. That's an NFL record. Melvin Gordon, 132 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think that's the key for the Chargers. You know about Philip Rivers, but when they run the football, they are so much more effective offensively.
Edwards in, and the call and the slip. Tried to make a move around Evans and lost his footing, losing a yard in the play. Let's wind up Tennessee here. Rich, coming into today, they had lost 2 games by a total of 8. They had won 3 by a total of 9. This playoff team from a year ago with the new head coach and Mike Vrabel, they had won 3 of 4 coming in. And you know, the added thing about this one is it could prove to be a tie-breaking game down the stretch for these 2 teams if they're in that mix.
Yeah, and you look at where they have to get better. I think the arrow points to the offense, Kevin. It was awful today, and they didn't do anything right.
Allen was in. Here they go the other way with more. Rich, why not put in Lamar Jackson right now with the gain of 4 right there?
Well, he's just going to come in and hand it off. I suppose it wouldn't hurt, Kevin. We saw that week 1 in the win over the Buffalo Bills when they destroyed the Bills at home, and we saw Lamar Jackson come in and play a bunch in the 4th quarter. Maybe that's a conversation that John Harbaugh is going to have, but
we're going to reach the 2-minute warning. And the Baltimore Ravens are going to go to 4-2 in 2nd place in the North, and we step aside.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL. And by Bud Light, enjoyed by Giant Blue fictional knights everywhere.
Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a wide-ranging interview with President Donald Trump, followed by an all-new episode of God Friended Me, NCIS Los Angeles. Madam Secretary, that's tonight, only CBS. 3rd down and 6 for Flacco. Touchdown pass, picked off once. Edwards getting a block from Yanda. Running outside and then brought down by Sharif Finch, a rookie free agent from Temple, on a gain of a yard.
I think you just run it again here. I don't think you try a field goal. Yep, 21-0. Just run it again and try and get out of here. How about this offensive line, though, Kevin? I mentioned it earlier. Flacco dropped back 37 times today. They didn't give up a single sack. And that's a big story, keeping this guy healthy and upright. And he was very effective. 25 of 37, 238 yards, a touchdown.
4th down and 5.
I think you're running here again.
They do. And Edwards, the man, down to the 26-yard line. He is close. Tennessee today, 9 possessions, 9 punts. And in the North, because Baltimore lost to Cincinnati, they do have the same record at 4-2. Technically, the Ravens in second place. Pittsburgh with the win goes to 3-2-1. Cleveland lost today to the Chargers, where they had back-to-back strong performances. The Ravens did against Denver and Pittsburgh and Cleveland last week, so they played well 3 of the last 4 weeks. They're going to win here today with a shutout over Tennessee. Baltimore on 3rd down today was 12 of 17. Flacco was 25 of 37. Crabtree caught 6 for 93 and a very difficult touchdown reception of 4 yards on the first drive. And the defense authored 11 sacks. That is a franchise record, and that's saying something for this franchise, which uses defense as their calling card.
Man, 11 sacks. Ooh.
Final score 21-0. Baltimore. Tonight on CBS 60 Minutes, a wide-ranging interview with President Donald Trump. So for Rich Gannon and Steve Tasker, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Nashville. We'll take you back to New York in our CBS studios for all the scores and highlights of a busy Week 6. Good night from Nashville.